Jake Ball, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Cider Press podcast and welcome to Somerset. How's it been those early months?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, the team are doing really well, which is part of the reason that I wanted to come down here. I knew that I'd be joining a successful squad, successful team, and they've carried that on this year, top of the T20s and third, and going well in the championship. So yeah, can't complain really.
Well, the reason the timing was good to get you on is because the championship is about to start again, and it won't have escaped anyone's notice that the next game is against Nottinghamshire, the club where you grew up, your boyhood club. You played all of your cricket there, or most of it, other than international stuff, until recently. Looking forward to going back.
Yeah, it's gonna be strange. I've played there a couple of times for the Welsh Fire as the visiting player, so that sort of takes the edge off a little bit. But I think obviously returning to play against Not, it's going to be a strange one, but one that I'm really looking forward to. So hopefully I can go and keep up the form.
You having to like zone in to make sure you don't take the wrong turn into the wrong dressing room.
Yeah, I'm luckily I think we have to walk past the away dressing room first, so I'll hopefully there'll be someone there to point me in there. But yeah, so it's gonna be a strange one having walked up the stairs for so long to stay at the bottom of the stairs. But yeah, one that I'm actually really looking forward to.
Yeah. So when did you first sign for Notts? Were you part of the triple signing? I might have got this wrong. Where didn't you, Alex Hales and Luke Fletcher sign on the same day? Is that right?
No, I was at the
Oh,
club. Then I had a so that year I was given the summer contract. Then I got my contract the year after.
I
So
see.
I think I signed my first full contract in 2009. Um, so yeah, quite a long while ago. Quite a few of the young lads in the Somerset squad keep reminding me of how old I am.
And talk to us a bit about Notts' strengths. I mean, you know some of those guys so well. People like Luke Fletcher keep performing, but there's some young lads in that side as well. Hamid's captain this year, right?
Yeah. Haas has taken over, so I think they're a strong side. Last 2 or 3 years built a lot of their success on bowling sides out twice. Obviously, you need to do that to win games. They tend to play on the results based pitches, little sort of nippy pitches because that's what they've got. Got Fletch. They've got although Brett Hutton's out at the minute injured. Dane Patterson, they all sort of pitch up and nip it around bowlers. So that's generally the pitch they tend to play on. Although they've obviously got Ollie Stone and Dylan Pennington now as well, so they've got a bit of pace in there. So yeah, I think their strength probably is in their bowling, but they've certainly added to the bat. I think Joe Clark's in unbelievable form
Mm.
over both formats at the minute, so he's one to watch. But I think they're a dangerous side, and I think this little two block of games in the middle of the T20s, I think it's going to be a bit of a dice roll from a few teams to try and get a result. So I think we'll definitely be playing on a results based pitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of players playing twos this week that might not otherwise be. You see, Jack Leach has just made 100, and have you seen his celebration yet?
I did see the celebration. Yeah, very very happy with that. I found myself batting quite a bit with Jack in the nets. They tend to put us down the bottom, so I'm very very proud that he's done the pair well.
Yeah, oh, excellent. Okay, I like the way you're taking credit for Jack Leach's 100 in the
Yeah,
twos. Sat on yourself,
yeah.
you're a good man to have around. Talk to us a bit about the decision to come down to Somerset. How did it first come about, and who or what attracted you?
Well, it came about. I think sort of things got a little bit stale at Knots. I had back surgery in 2020,
Yeah.
and things just didn't really get going for me from there. I felt like I needed a change. Sort of chatted with Knots and the coaching staff there. Middle of the summer, it became very apparent that the right thing for me to do was probably move on and look to freshen up and I still felt like I had so much to offer the game. The start of last season, I felt like I was bowling better than I ever have done. And unfortunately picked up a couple of little niggles and a few selection things here and there, and didn't quite get my season going the way I wanted to. So I felt like a nice fresh start, and I felt like as I alluded to at the start, Somerset are a team that obviously won the T20 last year and got a rich history in the championship. So I knew I was coming to a side that knew how to win, and I wanted to come somewhere where I was obviously, pushing for trophies and pushing at the tops of tables. And also I wanted to come somewhere where I was still being pushed. I think it would have been quite easy to go to maybe a team and, almost be guaranteed a place in the side because there's nobody else. Whereas I feel like I came here and, I had to work for my spot, and even when you're in the side, there's always people pushing you. So I think that was a big thing for me. And like I said, I feel like I've still got so much to offer the game, and I feel like I'm back bowling as well as I have done. So, I think it's been a very good move for me so far.
I remember, I think it was the Somerset game up at Notts last year, and Notts finished off the victory just in time to go and watch Nottingham Forest over the road. I think Stuart Broad was playing and very keen in front of Luke Fletcher to finish it off. I expect that's happened a few times. But I remember chatting to Stephen Mullaney and Kevin Shine actually afterwards, and they were telling me a bit about the bowling cartel, and both of them said that it's like the strength. There's Ollie Stone who wasn't fit to tell them. They said you were bowling as well as they've seen you bowl, but there's just so many options there. So you clearly were in a good place last year.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that was massive, like a big part of my decision. I think if I wasn't bowling as well as I had done and things like that, you give yourself a bit of a decision to make. But I feel like because I was bowling well and my body feels as good as it has done for a long time after the surgery and stuff. So I feel like touch wood, it's going really well, and hopefully have quite a few more years left.
And you talked about there being competition for places, not guaranteed a place on the side. You were left out up Chester Street, and yet Miguel Pretorius gets clonked on the head by the man who is known for clonking batters on the head, Ben Rain. He goes on to make 50, then ends up with delayed concussion. But you came in, pick up Pfeiffer. Can you talk us through, because presumably on the morning when you find out you're not playing, your routine as well as not playing, what you do across the day in terms of physical activity changes?
Yeah, it did. Obviously, it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster up and down. I felt like I was in a good place to play that game. So obviously to find out I wasn't playing, it was a bit gutting. And I was like, okay, right. So I went and did a bit of bowling with Steve Kirby, and then obviously we had the T20s coming up. So I did quite a long and big fielding session. And then at lunch, Curbs asked if I wanted to have another bowl, and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna have another. I'll bowl tomorrow." And luckily, I didn't, because I just went for a little hit, and then obviously, like I say, as Miguel went down, and I was in. So it was luckily didn't do too much, but I think I ended up bowling 20 overs in that first innings, which wasn't ideal, but to get the Pfeiffer, it was, like I say, it was an emotional roller coaster, but ended up on very much a high.
Yeah, it felt like it certainly looked from my position in the comms box like it was coming out all right then.
Yeah, it's been coming out nice all year, to be honest with you. It's just sort of finding that, I think when you haven't played a lot of 4-day cricket, just finding that rhythm of playing back-to-back games and backing back spells up, things like that. So I think once sort of I got into the rhythm of that and played a few games, it sort of all kept coming back, and the body starts playing ball a bit more. You don't get as stiff in the morning or during the game and things like that. So I think once I got those 2 or 3 games under my belt, I felt like I'm in a really good position.
And disappointing result in the end up there, and it felt like one of those games where everything that could go wrong was going wrong. There was a bit of illness in the camp. Bance's neck seized up. Quite nice to have the break to go into the blast and leave that one behind quite quickly for everyone.
Yeah, I think it was a good time. I think we spoke a little bit in the dressing room after about sort of not letting that overshadow how good we had been because I think in that first block of seven games, I think it was we were is it 7 games, 5 games, I don't know how many games we played, but in that first block, however many we played, we felt like we was in the game a lot of the time. I think that was probably one of the only games where it sort of really got away from us. And um, I think one very special innings from Bedingham, and Stokesy can do that to anybody in the world really. So you sort of just have to hold your hands up and say we was outclassed by two very high class players up there. But it's important that we didn't let overshadow how good we had been at the start of the season, because I think we feel like as a team we're in a really good position, and confidence was high going into that game. So it was really important that yes, that was finished now and we're going into a block of T20s, but don't forget actually how confident we were going into that game, and the confidence that we picked up through the previous however many games we played.
And confidence must be high. As we are chatting, Somerset halfway through the Blast campaign, top of the table, 4 pretty comprehensive victories on the spin, and heading up to Bristol for the Derby game on Friday night. You'd have played in a fair few not Derbyshire derbies,
Not
and you'd have
Derbyshire
probably won
Derby.
you'd have won a fair few as well, because Derby, once Jake Ball left, then Derby start winning, is what I heard.
Yeah. I saw that one. And once Samit Patel goes over to Derby, that's when Derby start winning a few games as well.
Indeed. But you're looking forward to Friday night against the old enemy? If people told you a little bit about the atmosphere and what that game's going to be like?
Yeah, a little bit. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting one. Obviously, we'll say what our confidence is sky high at the minute. Not just from this season, but I got the impression that when the first few trading days of the Blast comes round, and you get the white ball lads coming back in, it just adds the confidence of the whole team just goes sky high. Even the other day when obviously I think was in a bit of a tricky situation. I think it was about 120 first 7. I think it was. But at no stage did we ever sort of feel like we're going to lose that game. It was like, right, get up to 140, 150, and we'll bowl them out. That was the whole chat in the dressing room, and obviously eventually end up getting up to almost insurmountable score. I think the pitch was a little bit tricky at times. So, I think the confidence that's running through the whole team and whole squad at the minute is really good, and that comes to the fore in the T20s definitely.
Final question, bit of a tangent as well, so I've not built up to it at all. But a lot of players, some players ignore the weather. Some
Yeah,
players quite like the weather. I've heard that you're a man that loves a weather app, and you've got an array of weather apps, haven't you?
I've got a few weather apps. Yeah. Yeah, I like to. I've got a few that I trust and a few that I don't trust, but it's always nice to have a couple that you don't quite trust that give you a little bit of false hope.
Oh, so do you get the mood of the boys, and you check a certain app for, right? They need a little bit of encouragement here, so I'll give them this app.
Yeah. I mean, generally, I get a few of the lads that just come to me and ask me what the weather's obviously going to be, and a few of them you can be honest with, and a few you might have to tell a few white lies to. But yeah, I've found myself being called the weatherman in the dressing room now, which is I'll take it. I'll take it. I've stood in a few fields and watched a few clouds move in my time, so I know which way the clouds are going now, so I'm all good.
So if I have to stick you on on a desert island, and you're only allowed one weather app, which weather app is Jake Ball taking with him?
Rain today.
Rain today. Okay, you heard it here first. I think that's a perfect way to round off the interview. Jake Ball, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck
Thank you.
this weekend at Notts.
Thank you very much.